Have you ever looked at a couple that's been together for years and they seem so solid from the outside, and then one day you hear they broke up and you just think, what happened? Well, it's rarely some big dramatic explosion. It's often something much, much quieter. So today, let's explore the anatomy of how love can fade over time.
This quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? The end doesn't usually come with a bang. It comes with this slow, almost unnoticeable silence that just kind of grows between two people. The final act of someone leaving isn't the real end. The real end happened way before that, in all those little quiet moments when people just stop choosing each other, day after day.
So, how does a relationship end, not with this loud break, but with a quiet fade? Let's dive into that in our first section.
Okay, so this is a really crucial point. It's not that the love just vanishes into thin air one day. No, it's about neglect. It's this incredibly powerful and kind of dangerous assumption that once you've found love, it'll just take care of itself, that it doesn't need any more effort or attention.
And that assumption leads to a really dangerous trap, the illusion of we're fine. It's so easy to think that if you're not fighting, everything must be okay. But here's the thing, calm is not the same as connection. Underneath that peaceful surface, all the unspoken needs, the unresolved feelings, they can be slowly chipping away at the very foundation of the relationship.
That we're fine illusion, it leads right into what we can call the comfort trap. This is where all that intentional effort you put in at the beginning slowly, quietly gets replaced by assumption.
This comparison just lays it out perfectly. Think about the beginning of a relationship, right? You listen to every single word. You are 100% present. You are trying. But then years later, that intentionality can just turn into an automatic routine. You're physically there, sure, but are you really present? The care might still be there, but it starts to feel more like a habit than an active choice.
In this slide right here describes a phenomenon called emotional blindness. This is what happens when you get so used to your partner's efforts, their support, their patience, their love, that you just stop seeing it. It's not that those things are gone, it's that they've just become part of the background. They're expected, so they're no longer really appreciated.
And this is the heartbreaking result, isn't it? When a person feels consistently unseen and unappreciated, they just start to withdraw. It's a quiet retreat, this slow pulling back of all the emotional energy that used to give so freely. They stop showing up, not because they don't care anymore, but because it feels like it just doesn't matter if they do.
Now, this emotional withdrawal almost always leads to a breakdown in communication. And this is a huge turning point. It's where talking stops being a tool for connection and turns into a tool for, well, just survival.
And just look at the contrast here. Healthy communication, that's all about connection. You listen to understand, you speak to share, it feels safe to be vulnerable. But in a fading relationship, that all changes. You stop listening to understand and you start listening for your chance to reply. You speak to defend your point of view, not to connect. And being truly honest, that starts to feel risky, like a burden that's just going to make everything worse.
So what's the natural result of all that? Silence, yeah. When it doesn't feel safe to share what you're really feeling, you just stop. You retreat into that silence to protect yourself, and the distance between you and your partner just grows wider with every single word that you leave unsaid.
But here's the thing. All those unspoken words and unresolved feelings, they don't just disappear into thin air. They start to stack up, creating this huge unspoken weight on the relationship.
And this is pretty much how it happens. It starts small, right? Little disappointments that just get brushed aside. And then it moves to bigger things, needs and hurts that are never said out loud, apologies that should have been given but weren't. And all of that quietly builds into this kind of resentment that doesn't even have words. It's just a heavy, heavy feeling of distance. So when the final collapse comes, it often looks really sudden to people on the outside. But the truth is, it's the result of this long, quiet buildup. The structure of the relationship was getting weaker and weaker for years under that invisible weight of everything that was never dealt with.
Okay, this brings us to another huge factor. People change. It's just a fact of life, and sometimes their paths start to go in different directions, even while they're still together. Think about it. The person you are at 25 is just not the same person you are at 45. Your emotional needs change, your core values might shift, your dreams might get bigger or go in a totally new direction. A relationship runs into trouble when the love part stays frozen in an old version of who you both were, when it can't adapt and grow with the actual people living inside of it.
This metaphor just captures it perfectly.
It's not always that you don't love each other anymore. Sometimes it's just that your inner worlds have drifted so far apart that you can't understand each other's reality. That emotional alignment you shared, it's just gone.
So, we've gone through the whole anatomy of fading love. What can we learn from all this? Well, this final section is all about reframing love, not as a destination you arrive at, but as a practice you do every single day.
First thing we have to understand is this fundamental truth. It's really tempting to think that the longer you're together, the stronger your love must be. But time is not a shield. Time just reveals what's already there, or what's been missing all along.
So what does it survive on? It survives on presence, on choosing to be present even after you've gotten comfortable. It's about consciously fighting that emotional blindness we talked about and really continuing to see the person in front of you.
And ultimately, love survives on this: the active, conscious choice to keep choosing each other, even after all the initial excitement is settled into a comfortable routine. See, love isn't just a feeling that happens to you. It's an action you take.
And that leaves us with this final thought. What if we just shifted our whole perspective on this? What if love isn't something you just fall into and then hope for the best, but instead it's something you build, something you nurture, and something you choose day after day after day?